Have you ever been in one of those relationships where you're friends with someone and they're friends with someone else too? And it's very obvious that you're not the best friend. Like, they're always giving stuff to the other friend, spending time with the other friend, but it doesn't really seem like there's much priority for you.
Probably. I don't know.
That's the way Square Enix makes me feel. To a T. I feel like we're friends. I like their stuff. I like Final Fantasy. I have issues with them at times. Don't we all? But this. We reported on this a little while ago, how Universal Studios is kind of doing this big, like, hey, we're Japan kind of thing over in Japan, obviously. And using a lot of culturally Japanese-generated pop culture. We'll call it that. Includes a lot of anime, a lot of video games, and among those, Final Fantasy. And we knew that they were going to be working on a ride. And this is exactly the type of ride I was hoping they would make. The name of the ride is stupid, by the way. I just want to get that out there first. I believe the name of the ride, when translated, comes down to Mog Ship Magitech Observation Guild. Which I kind of feel like that shouldn't be the name of the ride. That should be just kind of like maybe the name of, like... I know you said you didn't really like amusement parks and you probably haven't been to one in a while.
I think I was actually to one last year.
Usually what they do with these at these big places like Universal and Disney, like you're not going first, like when you first go in to go on the ride, you're going through the line and they try very hard to keep you entertained while you're in line. I think with the Transformers ride in Universal, they are basically you're visiting the Nest headquarters. You're not going on a Transformers ride. You're just visiting the Nest headquarters. You're there for the tour, and then things go wrong and you have to fix them. Or the Harry Potter ride, hey, you're a muggle who's there to tour Hogwarts, and then everything goes wrong. That's typically how these things work out. Even the Back to the Future ride, one of my favorite rides of all time, that unfortunately now has been decommissioned and turned into a Simpsons ride. Yeah. Because Back to the Future is not relevant anymore. It's awesome. But even that was like you're visiting Doc Brown's laboratory, and Biff from 1950s like breaks in. I don't know how he got there from the 1950s, but he did. And he steals a time machine, and you have to hop in another time machine and hunt him down. And it's basically like it's just enough of a story to actually have a point to what you're doing. So I kind of feel like they should use that for this ride. Like, welcome to the where's this title again? Welcome to the Mog Ship, or as we like to call it, the Magic Tech Observation Guild. Like, you do this whole little introduction thing. So it looks like they're calling it an XR ride, which is going to use some form of VR. But basically, it's going to be a motion ride with lots of visuals, and you're going to be going to different Final Fantasy worlds, according to this trailer. And one of the things you were going to see is a fight between Cloud and Sephiroth that looks like it's straight out of Advent Children. I just want to know what I did wrong, Square Enix. I want to know what I did to you to make you mad. Was it my Was it my criticism of Final Fantasy 15 and how it took way too long to develop? I
You
mean,
didn't like Final Fantasy 15. That's what did it.
I bought the game though. I haven't played it much yet, but I bought it.
You verbally abused it.
Is it me? Am I the reason that? I don't think it could be. I don't think it could be me.
You're the problem. You're the reason.
I am what's wrong with gaming today.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if my absence would make gaming a better place, I would most graciously step aside. But I'm not what's wrong with gaming today. There's a couple of companies that are a problem. I think one of them starts with the letter E and ends with the letter A. It probably, it's more of an issue than me. I want this ride in my country. I'm not going to fly to Japan just to go on this ride. I would love to take a trip to Japan, but I would love this ride to be translated and brought over here. Just like everything of Final Fantasy. Come on. Especially if it has to do with 7. 7's the best one. I'm sorry, 6 fans. 7 is the best. It was the most groundbreaking. It means a lot to so many gamers. It's one of the best games ever, and no, that's not an overrate. Matt, do you have anything to say? I'm comforting my own self here. That's all. That's all this video is going to be about.
Gotcha. I'll make you feel better. I don't care for it. And it's not because I haven't, really played any Final Fantasy games. It's more of like you kind of you did mention. I'm not a huge fan of amusement parks. I'm afraid of heights, so roller coasters kind of out of the question for me as far as something I would deem amusing. There's a few of other things that are amusement parks that I do, like rides that spin you really fast. I kind of like that. I like the feeling of I'm gonna vomit.
You like the teacup ride?
And I like the octopus one. It's like it's spinning you, and it's like raising you, and then doing like kind of like a wave with its arms.
But not the zipper, right?
What's the zipper?
The zipper is the one. It's like a imagine a Ferris wheel, but smushed, and it's just like a vertical thing that you spin around in a cage.
This? I love those.
Are you serious?
I love them so.
That is the one ride I will not ride. I will not go.
You
on.
just sit there, and it just like it spins you at first, and then it starts like going upside.
Yeah,
I spat on myself doing one of those rides.
You deserve it.
I do deserve it. I was in the middle of it, and I was like, I wonder if I spat at as close to the top as I could, if it would hit me in the face.
Sure enough, it did.
It did. It didn't hit anyone around me. It only hit me. And I got off the ride.
And you were so happy with yourself.
Now, before you all question me as a person
who enjoys spitting on himself.
That was 11 years ago. I was 10. And I was a much stranger child back then. Clearly, my forms of amusement at a park was spitting on myself. Sounds weird.
Yes.
It was weird, but to me, it was a fun little experiment that succeeded. But
I think this ride will be much better, though. I don't think there'll be any spitting on it.
That makes it worse. Okay. And to go along with that, VR rides are not my favorite.
See, I've never been on a VR ride. I've been on plenty of motion rides, or they call them 4D rides. Sometimes you wear glasses to like help with the 3D effect, like with Spider-Man the ride. Or Transformers does the same thing. Transformers is basically Spider-Man the ride, but with Transformers, which is awesome, by the way. But you just move around, and then there's the Harry Potter ride, which was that one you might have a problem with, because that is kind of it's borderline indoor roller coaster.
I'm okay with that. It's more of like, if I can't see where I am, I'm okay with that.
No, you can see where you are.
Oh, well, I might have a problem.
And you're in one of those like things that come down and your legs are dangling.
I would very much have a problem.
And it twists you around and like shows you different things.
Out of all the roller coasters in my life, which I have been on roller coasters, that is the one kind of roller coaster I've never been on in my life.
Really?
Yep, never been on the ones where you dangle.
Those are so fun.
I can't do it. Like, you have a fear of, like, you said...
Okay, the zipper, the reason I don't like it is because it feels like the jankiest thing I've ever been on. It feels like this whole structure is going to fall apart at any minute now.
See, to me, what that would be like is just a runaway wheel of death, which I'm completely okay with. Because I'm inside of it. I can't be harmed.
It's everyone else outside the ring of death. That's a problem.
But I'm inside, so I'm okay.
Until it eventually comes to stop and falls on its side.
Which I'd still be okay. I'm inside of it. One way I'll be trapped, one way I won't. But they'll fix that eventually.
Okay, sure.
The dangle ones is just like, I'm just not. Like, I'm not okay with you dangling me and making me go 60 miles an hour while dangling. I'm just not okay with that.
And you're okay with water parks, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of, I think it's called Adventure Park in New Jersey?
I think so.
It's like one of the most dangerous parks ever.
Really?
It's a water park. There's a park up in Kentucky, not too far from us.
Holiday World?
I don't remember. All I know is they had this one particular water slide where like an 11-year-old was decapitated.
Nice.
Yeah, so Mr. I'm okay with water parks because they pose very little threat to me.
They do. I am much less afraid of water than I am of air.
It's not the fault.
But this isn't air or anything. It's
yeah.
These are the ones that I also can't stand. Is like the rail shooters that they have. Like, I think there's like a Toy Story one in Disney.
Yes, there is.
Is it Disneyland or is it Disney World?
Disney World has a. I don't know what Disneyland has. I've never been there.
It's just the lesser Disney World. I've been there plenty of times.
Really?
Yeah, I used to live in California.
Oh, I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
See, people who go to Disneyland like hold it over people who just go to Florida and they're just like, oh, Disneyland is the original and the best.
There's a lot more near Disney. You've got there's Universal Studio. I think there's also Universal Studios in Florida. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so.
Florida and Hollywood, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's Universal Studios there. There's I forget if it's actually. I think it's California Land or something.
Oh, I've heard of that one. But in
Knott's
Orlando,
Berry Farm.
In Orlando, you have MGM Studios. You've got Epcot Center. You've got Animal Kingdom. You've got like additional Disney parks there.
Disney World definitely seems and sounds bigger than Disneyland, but I've only been to Disneyland, so I can only talk about Disneyland. But those rail shooters I'm okay with. Just sitting in something and just like watching something, just like, why am I doing this?
Because it's fun.
No, it's like, I think there's a Star Wars one in Disneyland, and it's just like you sit in there, and then it's like you're in a cargo ship, and it's like, oh no, the Empire, and I'm like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
I'm watching like a 3-minute video while sitting in a shaking box. That's where my mind goes. It's like, this isn't enjoyable.
So
like,
there's no immersion for you whatsoever.
There's nothing. I'm literally sitting there, bobbing and shaking and all this. I'm just like,
you need to go on the Spider-Man ride. Do you know what happens on the Spider-Man ride? Like they do things like at one point you're wearing 3D glasses.
Right, something I don't like.
But you're going to like different screens that do project in 3D. At one point, Doc Ock breaks through a brick wall, and he's like, one of the tentacles is like shooting flames, but at the same time, the thing that you're in is like blowing hot air on your face.
They have a ride that does that in California Land. It takes you over, like, it shows you basically, like,
I
it's
don't
like if you ever
see-
wanted to see where California, like all the things in California, if you ever wanted to do that in like 2 or 3 minutes, they do that, and it's like they take you over like the ocean, and they spray like mist on you.
So basically, they show you the mudslides and the wildfires.
Yeah,
because
they
that's all
set
that,
you on fire,
and the earthquakes.
Right. They take all the water out of your body, and it's like, this is what it's like to have no water. It's like,
This is what it's like to be on fire.
This is the best state.
Anyway, we've gotten way off topic.
I thought this would be a lot shorter topic.
I know. Anyway, short answer, Matt doesn't care at all. I care way too much. And that's where we are right now, Square. So you'll have at least one person from this podcast who will go anywhere in this country to go on this ride, should you bring it over.